Hello, Beard Wizard family. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Battle of the Retro American Beers. It's been a while. Our last episode, I looked, it was a long time ago. I've been wanting to get back to this for a while to finish this up because we're close. Before we jump into that, though, thank you to all the people who've come to the channel, subscribed, commented, shared your stories, shared information, gave me tips, advice, made suggestions, all that great stuff. Thank you to the subscribers. Things have really escalated this year with you guys joining the channel and subscribing. Thank you so much. Our next goal is 7,500 as soon as possible. I'm not going to say this year. I'm not going to set myself up again like that. But as soon as possible, that's our next milestone. And then once we hit that, we'll see where we go from there. So the biggest way to support us is to click that red subscribe button. But also, we have a Patreon. Thank you, Elena, for being a channel member and a Patreon member. I did look up the Patreon rewards. I do need to clean that up and add some stuff, but I also do need to get some stuff your way. So if you're watching, you'll get an email from me soon to send you some stuff digitally, but also to see if you want some stuff physically. Channel members also get access to the Discord as a membership level. You just join the Discord. I'll set your permissions up, early access to videos. All of that good stuff will be available to channel members. So thank you to those members who are on the channel as click the membership button. And thank you to those who have joined the Patreon. I really appreciate it so much. It means the world to me that you value and appreciate what I do to that extent. I never imagined that I would ever earn anything to do this. You know, not that it's a lot, not that I'm going to retire tomorrow. Wouldn't that be nice? But even anything, people are willing to give anything for the content. So thank you. It means the world to me. So what is Battle of the Retro American Beers? If you're not familiar, if you're new here, if you never watched the old episodes, definitely go check them out. Battle of the Retro American Beers. I picked a collection of what I consider retro beers. Beers that used to be popular, beers that used to be big, beers that are old, not beers that are still huge. Not beers that have been like, this is not about Bud Light versus Coors. Those guys are huge. They've been huge. They're going to remain huge. That is not what I consider a retro beer. Things like Stroh's, Mickey's, PBR, Little Kings, Michelob, not Michelob, I forgot one of the ones, but those types of beers, those beers that were huge back in the 60s and 70s, and then sort of either petered out, got sold, got moved around, etc. and so on. I pit them against each other, see which one I like best, and then they move on. So far we have had, if you missed it out, in our round one, we had Stroh's versus Old Style. Stroh's won. I love Stroh's. Then we had Mickey's versus Stag. Mickey's won out on that one. That's why Mickey's is here tonight. We had Little Kings versus PBR. Past Blue Ribbon. PBR won. That's why they're here tonight. Old Milwaukee went up against Schlitz, and Schlitz won. Hams went up against Blatz. Blatz won. And then we had a weird situation where I didn't read correctly, and Lone Star went up against Icehouse. Icehouse is not a retro beer, so Lone Star won by default. The next round, Stroh's went up against Lone Star, and Stroh's won. Now, Stroh's is a ringer. Stroh's has moved on to the final round because, again, I couldn't count, and I had the wrong number of beers and couldn't figure out the brackets right. So Stroh's is moving on automatically. Then Schlitz faced off against Blatz, and Schlitz won. And now we're down to PBR facing off against Mickey's. The winner of this round, again, goes on to the finals to face Schlitz. And the winner of that round goes to the final championship round to go up against Stroh's. So I like to give a little information. This is just like or very similar to Battle of the Beer Advent calendars. So if you're not familiar with these two beers, which I'm sure you've heard of Past Blue Ribbon, you might not have heard of Mickey's though. PBR has been around since 1844 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They are currently based in San Antonio. They have gone through a lot of ups and downs, closures, sales, moves over the decades, really. And I consider them a retro beer, even though you can buy Pabst pretty much anywhere, because they've gone through that sort of fall off and come back and fall off and come back, and they've almost become like a meme beer, kind of a joke in a sense that people are like, oh, PBR is the greatest beer, because they did win a lot of awards back in the day and they were considered one of the best beers. So That's our first contender. Very Old Beer Company. Welcome, Dragonfire. Old English and King Cobra were popular go-tos for Edward 40. Yes. So that you bring that up, Dragonfire. Wes, friend of mine, I finally talked to a friend of mine, Jeremy, who is playing the home game. He may or may not remember this, but we're going to do a battle of the gas station 40s sometime in the near future, which will probably involve Old English, King Cobra, and any other really awful 40-ounce beers we can find at the skeeziest gas station in the area. And we will see which 40 wins out as the best of the best from that seedy gas station. So interested to see how that goes. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So up next is Mickey's. If you're not familiar, Mickey's comes in a little squat green bottle that's actually supposed to look like a beehive. It kind of looks like a beehive. But Mickey's, hi Miss Ripley, how you doing, sweetie? Mickey's has been around since the 60s. It was owned by Sterling, or made by Sterling Brewing, 62 to 72. Purchased by G. Heilman Brewing in 96. Heilman acquired by the Stroh's Company, who then sold the brand to Miller. So it's currently being made by Miller, but it has been on again and off again around since the early 60s, and I would consider a retro beer. So we're going to pit these two against each other. We're going to see which one comes out, and unlike a lot of the beer reviews, I'm going to pour right here so you can see. I usually pour ahead of time. I just don't. I'm just afraid I'm going to dump this on the keyboard. Is really why I always pour it ahead of time. But, all right, so pouring against the side of the glass to start with, and then to give us a good. You want to pour your beer correctly. You want to pour it into the beer. You want to open up those flavor notes, that aroma. You want that carbonation to open up. So there's your Pabst. Pretty standard looking beer. Nice head. Smells like a beer. Cheers. Pretty standard beer flavor. Not normally my favorite style, but I like before Ripley's whiny yawn back there. It tastes better than a lot of the other beers that are considered its sort of contemporaries. If I had to choose between, say, Coors, Miller Lite, and Bud Light, I'd choose Pabst Blue Ribbon every day. It's actually a very good beer. But how does it hold up against Mickey's? Let's get us our palate cleanser here. Now, Mickey's, if you've never had Mickey's, one of the things that they're actually known for is, much like Snapple, there's something inside the cap. There is actually a puzzle, and you're probably not going to be able to see this, but there is a puzzle. Yeah, you can kind of see it. There's a puzzle inside the cap. And the whole game is to try to figure out what it is. I believe their website has the answers to a lot of these, but it's kind of a fun little, if you're drinking a 6-pack of Mickey's at a party or at a friend's house or playing poker, you can kind of pass these around and see if people can get the little puzzle and figure out what it is. I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that one. I'm not sure what that would be. I'm sure Jeremy knows what that one is. I always love a glass bottle. I'm always nervous about a green glass bottle. Green glass beers, if you're familiar with beers, tend to be skunky. This one immediately smells skunky. Skunk is not always a bad thing in a beer. Sometimes it's subtle enough that it's flavor rather than awfulness. But a lot of your green beers have that skunky flavor that turn a lot of people off. Not a lot of difference in appearance from these two. Still got that very golden color. Nice head. A little aroma of skunk. Cheers. And I'm trying to remember, just like last time, this is one of the few beers that smells like skunk that doesn't taste like it. Mickey's has got a nice texture, and I think I'm remembering that from last time now. It's almost got a smoother, creamier feel to it against your palate that I don't get from PBR. There's more flavor to it. and it's not a skunk flavor. There's almost I'm not sure what I'm hitting on the back end of it, but it's just got more flavor. It's got more personality, more body to it. So I think moving on to face off against Schlitz is going to be Mickey's. I'm not sure how Jeremy will vote. Again, my buddy Jeremy's playing the home game. But I know he drinks this more than he drinks PBR, so I'm guessing this is where he's going to land too. But Mickey's takes it today. I have to find Schlitz. That's the tricky part. As soon as I find some Schlitz in the area, we will be having the finals round of Mickey's versus Schlitz. And again, the winner of that moves on to face off against Stroh's. So thank you for being here. I will probably be doing a music stream in a little while. I got to take a quick break and do a couple things. But depending on how I feel after that quick break, I may be back with a music stream. Wes and everybody else who was here, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I'll see y'all again soon. You have a great one. Much love.